Hello and welcome to the Autocar show. Now, the luxury segment in the Indian market is one of the fastest growing segments, and Mercedes and BMW have been around a while with a host of engine configurations battling it out. Whilst Jaguar was there, it didn't have that also necessary diesel engine for the Indian market. Well, they've just launched with a bomb of a 3-litre diesel engine, and we're pitting it against the two established players to see how it matches up. The Mercedes new E-Class has a more angular and edgy look, and there's a self-assured gleam in its sharp face. However, there are quite a few fussy-looking elements like the squared-off 4 headlamps and excess of creases. Build quality is top class and a reminder of the old days when Mercedes cars were engineered like no other. The solid thud with which the doors close is proof enough. The BMW F10 5 Series bristles with newness. Under the skin, there's a lot of 7 Series in the design, and it's not difficult to mistake it for its bigger sibling. It also has some of the muscular, sinuous character of the 3 Series, and you can't mistake this car for anything else but a BMW. The 5 Series is definitely more handsome than the Merc, and some would say far better looking than the sharply cut previous 5 Series too. But when it comes to out-and-out looks, the one that would get the most whistles on the catwalk is the Jag, even though it's been around the longest. The styling is a mixture of graceful curves and bulges in the right places to give it a sassy air that others can't match. The coupe-like roofline gives it a sleekness which contrasts with the more upright stance of the German saloons. The XFS has styling elements that are a throwback to the past, like the distinctive mesh cord oval grille and power bulge on the bonnet, the latter inspired by the E-Type. They both look brilliant even from inside the car. Now, when we talk about interiors, you have to take a look inside the Jag. It's really unique, it's different. You have a neat, clean dash with everything shut away, and when you start the car, it all opens up, the AC vents open up, the gear lever comes out. It's really well engineered. Even the glove box is just at the touch of a single button. So quite amazing on the inside, quite unique. But unfortunately, there are things like the texturing, metallic texturing on the dash, and the sort of plastic bits that are meant to look like chrome that feel a bit cheap. They don't feel like they belong in a car of this class. It's easy to get carried away with all the gadgetry of the Jaguar, but that's no reason to discount the other two cars. The BMW doesn't have any tricks like the Jag, nor does it have the plethora of buttons like those on the Merc dashboard. It's a simplistic, tidier design due to the iDrive. The high transmission tunnel is layered with a smartly styled wood finish. Atop that sits the BMW's joystick-like gear lever, which falls easily to hand. Also adding a sense of control for the driver is the snug seat, which offers terrific support and perfect driving position. The E-Class doesn't come with the bells and whistles like the Jaguar either. In fact, even the command system, which is Merc's take on BMW's iDrive, is far too basic and controls only the music system and the Bluetooth functions. In terms of equipment, all cars offer all the essential goodies, but both the 530D and the E-Class in the Avantgarde trim offer an entertainment pack with massive 7-inch screens at the rear as standard. The Mercedes is the one that really feels the sturdiest from the inside too, and you can't miss that built-to-last feel. It also has the most airy and spacious interior, be it front or rear. Well, that's what's important in this class of a car, the rear seat. So let's begin here. The ride quality of the BMW is really nice, especially at low speed. It just absorbs all the bumps and potholes quite well. Go a little quicker and you do feel the sharper bumps and potholes in here, but it's much softer than the previous 5 Series was. Despite the run-flat tires, the BMW seems to feel quite at ease now on the Indian roads. The new 5 is the longest of the lot and the one with the biggest wheelbase. The end result is quite good. Both rows of seats offer incredible comfort for the occupants with better than before knee room at the rear. The seat's design and cushioning are also spot on, with the backrest having scooped out sections that cradle you and keep you comfortable. The rear seat of the BMW itself is a very comfortable place to be in. It's got great under-thigh support, and the backrest as well just sort of envelops you, holds you in place. Extremely comfortable. But the disappointing part is this front seat that feels like a titan in front of you. It's just so huge you can't see beyond it, which is very disconcerting for the rear seat passenger. Add to that this window line, which is quite high. You're sitting low at the back and you feel very claustrophobic in here. Now when you get into the Merc straight after the BM, this feels like an expanse. You know, the seats are lower, visibility in the front is better. There's loads of leg room, the width is good. It just feels so much more open and airy in this back seat, which makes it far more comfortable to be in, although the seats are not quite as comfortable as those in the BMW. With the new E-Class, Mercedes actually moved more towards adding driving dynamics and making this a car to be enjoyed front seat or rear. Well, the engineers seem to have done a good job of maintaining the legendary backseat comfort as well. As far as the ride quality goes, the other two cars are a little softer and may have the better ride at low speeds, but overall the Mercedes is far more flatter. So eventually, in the long run, it's just the better place to be in. Sadly, the Jag really isn't the car to be in the back seat. It's a little shorter on space compared to the other two, and the headroom is really a sore point with a coupe-like roofline not allowing much space. The ride is also a tad too soft, giving it a wallowy feel. But get behind the wheel of the Jaguar and any apprehensions you have will just melt away. This 3-liter engine in the Jag is really a bomb. Small dabs of the accelerator give you big amounts of power, and the torque, it's just delicious. You know, you feel like there's this giant hand behind you just propelling you forward at great speeds. Surprisingly, the Jaguar is not the quickest of the lot, despite the surge of torque that you feel. There's a bit of lag at low revs and throttle response is not immediate. However, once the turbo kicks in, it just pins you to the back of your seat. The dash to 100 kilometers comes up in just 7.34 seconds, and the best bit is the utterly effortless and silky smooth manner in which all this punch is delivered. The ZF 6-speed auto box works brilliantly too. It's especially quick on the downshifts and allows you to use engine braking effectively. The surprise package really is the BMW. It doesn't feel like it when you drive it, but the 8-speed gearbox with its closely stacked gear ratios makes the most of the power. As a result, the 530D lands up being nearly a second quicker than the XF in the 0 to 100 dash. And the gap opens up further as the car gains more speed. The engine too is more responsive than the Jaguar from low revs. However, in manual mode, it's the BMW that's the least responsive of the lot, and it doesn't downshift from high revs as the others do. Also, the 530D's motor is not as refined as the other two cars, and power delivery isn't as smooth either. The E350 CDI lags behind the 530D and the XFS on the drag strip, but that's not to suggest it's slow. The 0 to 100 comes up in a very respectable 7.63 seconds, and there's no let-up in performance after that. The stately Merc wafts you to some serious speeds without you feeling it. The E-Class uses its tried and tested 7G Tronic box, which feels perfectly mated to the torquey V6. Now, here's a surprising bit about the Merc though. I never thought there'd be a day when I said this, but really, it is the Merc that handles better than the BMW. The BMW and the Jaguar feel a little soft and wallowy at the rear. The Merc is the one that's most composed, it's the flattest, and the steering is direct. Really, it's the one that handles the best. The 5 Series actually turns into corners with gusto, and like most BMWs, there's little slack around the steering straight ahead position, which makes it very responsive on a twisty road. But the new 5's electric steering has an artificial feel to it and it lacks consistency in the way it weighs up, which is what lets it down sorely. The Jaguar's handling is predictably not as agile as the other two, and the softness of the rear comes through around corners. Though the steering has lots of feel and weighs up well, it isn't the sharp tool that will make you flick it around from bend to bend. This is a car that's best driven a notch down to suit its polished personality. Style, torque, and making a statement is what this car is all about. Add the price tag in, and the Jaguar is an attractive option. It's got an amazing engine, loads of torque, extremely refined as well, and that's the one that will put a smile across your face. The BMW, a very well-equipped car, great quality interiors, and still a very involving drive. It's also the quickest of the lot, but you don't feel the power in the outright manner of the Jaguar. The BMW has changed in its new avatar and it's lost some of the hard edge of the driving experience. But what it's lost, it has gained in the backseat comfort, making it a more complete car. But when you look at all the qualities that's required out of a luxury car in this segment, it's really the Merc that combines them the best. Great comfort, ride quality and space in the backseat. It's got more than adequate performance, it handles well as well, and good interiors. So when you look at it as a package, it's really the Merc that becomes our winner.